On May 30th, 2026, the Cherokee County Republican Party of Georgia invited several of the individuals who made the June runoff to speak at you monthly breakfast. Please enjoy this excerpt from that event.
Well, good morning. It's good to see everybody. I know this isn't the sexiest race that everybody gathered for, but I am pleased with the crowd and the opportunity to be here to speak to you this morning. I am Bubba Longgrear. I'm running for state school superintendent. How many of you, from a philosophical standpoint, agree with the idea of term limits? I do too, and I have for years. And interestingly enough, my beautiful wife is in the back of the room. We have 3 kids, and we were gathered around watching the race results come in, and there are 5 of us in the primary, and we realized the power of the incumbency. And one of my kids said, "Dad, if the incumbent is that much of a powerful piece in the voting outcome, why don't they just remove that I from the ballot to make it a little more even?" And I said, well, the people that are voting to do that are the incumbents. So, but I tell you that to say that of a field of 5, we pushed in this state school superintendent race a 3-term incumbent to a runoff. Thank you. It was a very close margin if you looked at the data. But now the score is 0-0. Randall Trammell, another candidate from up in this area of Georgia, gathered about 14% of the votes. He's fully endorsed me. We first met, thank you. Randall and I actually first met here in June of last year. First time I met him, and we developed a friendship and a healthy friendship. We both shared the same common value of we want to improve education in Georgia. And Senator Dolezal mentioned some of the data. And those are brutal facts that we have to face. And we have a 3-term incumbent that's running again. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a 30-year public education school employee. I've been a superintendent down in southeast Georgia for the last 11 years. And we've had a lot of success. Is all of our data where we want it to be? No, we're dealing with a very impoverished community. Kids that come with extreme challenges, but I can tell you that what I'm proud of is our students are graduating ready for careers and success beyond, and that's what we're focused on. Some of our students that are graduating from high school are unbelievably amazing. They're more talented, they're more equipped, they're more prepared, but there's not enough of them. We have to find ways to reach 100% of the population. I intend to do that. I think we need a new, fresh face in this race. And I would love to have your support and vote. I've been endorsed by dozens and dozens of key people that have a passionate interest in education in Georgia and improving educational outcomes. The Speaker of the House, John Burns, the Senate Ed Committee Chairman, the House Ed Committee Chairman, dozens of legislators from this area throughout. From my time at the Capitol, they saw the passion, they saw the willingness to work. You know, the theme has been up here today, I'm a fighter. Where I come from, you usually don't tell somebody before you're about to get in a fight, you want to keep your advantage. But I can promise you, I'm going to be strategic and do everything I can to work with all stakeholders to improve education in Georgia. The reason I'm running for this race, one, probably 20 superintendents around Georgia. I'm currently the president of the Georgia School Superintendent Association. Said, Bubba, we need you to run. We need a change. And I'm running because our current superintendent is not doing a good job of leading, and I feel like I need to step up and do something. God's blessed me with ability, and I need to use it and utilize it. We're at a good time of transition. My wife is a public school teacher. All 3 of my kids have graduated from public school. My daughter most recently graduated just 2 weeks ago. All 3 of my kids will have gone to the University of Georgia out of high school. One's graduated. A quick story on that. My oldest son, he was at Georgia. He was an ag business major. And he calls home and says, Dad, I think I'm going to change my major. You know, a proud father thinking the boy's going into accounting or law or something that makes some money for us, you know. Mom and Daddy are poor school teachers. I said, great, son, what are you thinking of doing? He said, Dad, I want to be a teacher and a coach. And I said, again, I've been talking to people into being teachers and coaches for 30 years, using every tactic I could to try to sell it. My response to him when he said, Dad, I want to be a teacher, I said, why? And he replied this quick, Dad, it's been pretty good to us. I said, wow. He will be teaching and coaching next year down in Southeast Georgia. And, you know, 23-year-olds don't always talk to you a whole lot about details and what's going on. His mother and I have no idea who he's dating and going out with and all this kind of stuff. We try to pry around, but when he calls, he wants to tell me every detail of his student teaching experience or his coaching after school. Dad, we ran this drill and they did this. And it's just encouraging to me. I'm passionate about helping children in Georgia. I would ask for your vote in the runoff. We can get this done. We need a change. We are in desperate need of a change, and I'm willing to serve. My wife, when I asked her, I said, baby, what do you think about me running for state school superintendent? She said, load me up, tell me where we go. And I appreciate her willingness and serving me with 25 years. So, my website is Bubba4ga.com. As I wrap up, some people say, you know, you're Southeast Georgia, your name's Bubba, I don't know if we should run statewide on that. But I go back to a story of Sonny Perdue. They told Sonny when he was running for governor, Sonny, we're not sure you need to run as Sonny. You might want to run as George on the ballot. Sonny said, if Georgia's not ready for a governor named Sonny, I don't want to be their governor. So, Bubba Longgrear, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
We've got one or two questions for you. First question is this. An issue that always comes up in the superintendent race is the degree of local control of school systems in Georgia. The information and the control such as it comes out from the state and ultimately the control or influence by the Federal Department of Education. If elected, how do you intend to ensure that local control is maintained here in Georgia?
Yes, sir. Definitely in favor of local control, and I appreciate Donald Trump's effort to do away with the Federal Department of Education. I would love to have that autonomy here in this state. I think there's certain things that take place at the local board level. I'm proud that Cherokee County has tax exemptions on property taxes for those above the 62 range. I think 65, maybe, or 62. I appreciate that. That is a local decision. I think you control who's on your school board, and by the way they do things. But from my office, I'm going to make sure that we're not doing things in local districts that are hurting children to Greg's, Dolezal's point, Sharia law, transgender, all those things that are not helpful for children. I'm willing to take a stand and say, as a conservative Christian, I am going to advocate against those things as questions.
You did comment, we do have a long-standing or long-term existing superintendent in Richmond Woods. As our constituents here go to the ballot box this week or next week, what are the key things that they should know that distinguishes you from Richmond Woods and makes you handle the job?
Great question. Thank you for that. My whole career has been built on collaborating, team building, and being accessible. When I was thinking about running for office, I reached out to our superintendent, tried to. I went by his office, I emailed, I called his office. I wound up getting his cell number, called him. For 2 months, I never heard anything back from him. And that was the final straw. I said, you know what, I'm the president of the Georgia School Superintendents Association, and I can't get a hold of our state school superintendent. What about those parents and teachers that need some support from the state level? I'm going to be accessible. I'm going to work with every group regardless of what their opinions are. I'll listen, and then we'll do what's best for Georgia. I've built my whole career on that, so thank you for that question.
I have one question here before I turn things over to Marcia. We did not get a question in all of this regarding the SAVE Act and the Save America Act.